All right. So I try to find back. I had this last night. I was looking at these expressions that I put into the Christopher Wool format, so to speak, and but now I can't find the piece where I distilled them from. So that's always amazing how that is. It's like, oh yeah, that's already gone. That's over. So the second part of this, the moment together, is then. So we have opened our ears literally to hear what is being shared in terms of physical resurrection. Like, in fact, is the whole of this 40 days related to it. Step by step, you see that you became accustomed, or maybe already had that, but you became more accustomed to the idea of a physical resurrection, a recognition, like we saw this in the movie too, a recognition that that there's no such thing as a body that can limit you in any way. Like, I'm free. So the common misidentification was with the body in our awakening. Recognizing the body for what it is, it disappears. And not that we have to practice that right now, no, but what I try to emphasize is this, is that you, in fact, allow these ideas to come to you. While this, and we saw this, I'm just referencing into all that we have seen. It's like we saw this in the movie. Suddenly, in the movie Mary Magdalene, it's like suddenly the tomb is empty. They were sure that they put everything in there, like the body and all that. They put it in there, put a stone in front of the cave, and it is gone. It's not there any longer. And so, like, whatever that was, we looked at crucifixion and saw that the crucifixion, even though it was an extreme example, did not have any effect on the spirit of Christ. Like, yeah, so the misidentification of thinking that limiting a body would really limit something is like, that is not the case. That's really what the hypnosis is, or yeah, you could call it an hypnosis, or I don't know. It's like we base so much on that, so much emphasis on the body. And there's a very specific reason for that too. It's like, and coming back to the idea of you obey the God that you believe in, like you obey the God that you think is valuable, and you do this, like you obey that. That obeying is a total commitment to it. Like, if I would ask anyone in the streets, like, okay, so do you know that you're not a body? They would laugh at me. It's like, no, the conviction of the fact, for them a fact, like for me a fact as a human being, like that I am a body, of course. What else do I have? And otherwise I built my whole world around it, literally. So yes, I am that. This part is so it's like it is not a partial commitment. See, and that is the same. It's like you got acquainted with that, recognizing that in your own mind, and that you do that. That is the same with your whole mind. You like, once you recognize that, it is like, of course, there's nothing else but that. And that makes you incredibly happy, in the sense, like, you completely expand in the joy of the recognition. With a human experience, the commitment is total too. You're not a little bit a human being. You're either a human being or not. So that's why there's also no overlap between the two. between the consciousness of a human being and an awakened consciousness. There's no overlap. There's literally no place where you can actually meet. But by, say, use and the comforting presence of spirit, it is possible. It is the bridge from one to the other. But it doesn't mean that you can take parts of your earthly ideas into heaven. You know, what you bind on earth, it will be bound in heaven. It's like you have to let it go here, otherwise you will not experience that. So the commitment is total, either whatever God you choose to obey, you know, and that's a very powerful, reminder or key to actually recognizing the reality of you, and also seeing that your mind is accustomed to a total commitment, if you want, or a total conviction of where it finds itself. It does not doubt that. So in your human development, you saw that there must be something else. So you started to let go of this idea. There must be something else. This cannot be it. Like, my human existence cannot be it. There must be something else. This was the moment that you didn't know. You were confused about yourself. You didn't know how to move forward. You didn't know. You couldn't go back either. But something broke. There was literally suddenly space in your mind for a different experience, and one way or another you caught a glimpse of it, and that glimpse was like an unrepairable crack in your shell. Like, as you see it as an egg, it would be like a crack in the egg, a crack in the shell of the egg. So there was just this little crack, and the light was shining in, and that is like, remember this solar eclipse. You know, you see the so-called moon coming in front of the sun, and suddenly all the light of the sun is gone. You see only the aura of the sun, but not anything else. And then there's the first spark again. So it's a bit like that idea. There's the first spark again of light coming into your darkness, illuminating your darkness. It's like that you have this experience, you know. So that was the start of, there might be more, there might be more. At least it's not completely dark. Like, there is a way out here. There's the light at the end of the tunnel, like we have in the background here too. It's like there's light in the end of the tunnel. Something happened, and you see that by allowing this to grow in you as a certainty, you see that there will be more light and more episodes of light and more sudden deep revelations out of the blue, you would say, that really come to support this awakening that you're in the middle of. So that's a beautiful discovery. And also it's like, that is really the time is now to let it occur. There wouldn't be a better time. Like, you don't have to wait for it. Like we Christians did that for a long time, waiting for the Christ to come back to us, as he will be there one day, and then it's like thinking that would be someone else coming to you to recognize you as, like, here I'm the Christ, and now you can now you can rest in peace. Now, that's not how that worked, but we have been waiting for that for a long time. And that's, in a certain sense, easy to wait for something from outside yourself to let that come to you. So here in the awakening process, there's in a certain sense a self-awareness that is really necessary, that you recognize, I don't have to wait for anyone. I don't have to have the agreement of anyone. This is only for my recognition of truth in reality, not for anyone else. That's why it's the most selfish thing as a human being. You would say, like, it's the most selfish thing that you can possibly do, and that is to decide for yourself continuously to connect with your source instead of something that appears to be out there and making that real. Now you found the God that you want to obey, that you want to be in a conscious connection with, so that you want to practice the presence with, because of your experience of that is very fulfilling and very loving, and it, yeah, you recognize the truth behind it. You come into the recognition that there is a home and that it is waiting for you, but that is in you and not anywhere else. So this is the process. So you could say it's a process. It's really a recognition. So that's the same with ideas of illumination that was written down, or I'm the light of the world. It's like, yeah, whose world is it? It is my world. So I'm the light of this world, because this world is a world of darkness, and not because in fact, because I created it that way. I saw it that way. I tried to organize this for myself, having a place separate from God, but now realizing that doesn't make any sense. It was just, say, temporary insanity. I come back and recognize that I can shine my light in it. So that's another thing. And then the illumination ideas, like I use the, say, metaphor of a solar eclipse. Like the first ray of light entering back into your awareness is then where something so total happens. Like whether it's one ray or whether it's completely illuminated, so to speak, it is in fact the same experience. So it's like it is a recognition. It is a recognition of the presence of light. That is what your illumination is. It's like a recognition that there is nothing, like there's no exception to that light. There's nowhere where it isn't. So that's also good. So the God, there was one of the expressions too, the God of resurrection makes no demands. I said this in the beginning too. The God of resurrection makes no demands. So if it is a loving God, love only gives. It never makes any demand. God only gives. That's the nature of you. That's the nature of you. So one of the ones that I remembered that I made too, but I didn't see it now, it was this one. I live in you, I live in you, because you live in God. I live in you because you live in God. That's also so great to remember. I live in you because this is what Jesus says in the Course in Miracles, like, I live in you because you live in God. See, slowly but certainly everything is coming to the same point. And that's a great experience. You see even the reflections of that in your, say, material world. It can very well be. Suddenly you have a recognition with someone. Like I had in my backpack a present for one of us here. I had a present to take with me. In the moment that I put it in my backpack, I received a text and with a picture, like, I got the book. And these things are happening. Like there's no time between cause and effect. Like it is received and given at the same time. We're one. So it's like whoosh, there it is. Wow, that's amazing. And this just goes on. So even in this world, as you want, you see that works like that. But Yeah, that's the recognition. So that's great to see that happen, and it's also great to recognize, yes, I am the dreamer of this dream. Nobody else is doing this to me. Like, I am the dreamer of it. That's why I can change my mind about where I want to listen to, which God I want to obey. So that's inherent in that too. All right. So thank you so much for your attention today. Thank you so much for being present here, and